Hello and welcome to Don't Feed the Geeks, presented by the Long Island Comic Guys, the masters of the geeky verse. Well, welcome back, geek freaks. I am TC, joined today by JJ.
What up, guys?
Toy Story.
What's up?
And our special guest, Hudson.
How you doing, everyone?
There you go. You gotta say hi because some people to this, Hudson.
Welcome. Hi.
So we have a really cool episode for you guys today. We're going to do our May the 4th episode a little early, just one day. We're going to do a Star Wars What If. I don't remember who came up with it. I think it was either JJ or Toy Story, but they came up with a great idea for the Star Wars What If. It was you, JJ?
I thought it was.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was me, but it's okay. I'll give you the credit.
It was. Okay. I thought it was Toy Story, but you came up with a lot of the good questions. So
yeah, you did come up with the good questions.
We're gonna go through a couple of awesome Star Wars What If scenarios, change it up a little bit. We are going to do a little different format, guys. We're going to try this going forward. So what we're going to do is we're still going to give you the geek beat at the beginning of every episode, but our main segment will end the episode. And what we're going to start doing is our ending segments. We're going to turn those into individual mini episodes. This way we're not hitting you guys with, too much time in one episode, because we know nowadays people, they just don't have that long attention span. Hudson's already fallen asleep from my speech.
Some of us are getting older, like me, it's the blue hair specials, dinners are at 4:00. I want to make sure we hit those.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But before we get into our What If, we're going to turn it over to Toy Story for the Geek Beat.
Nice. I love the low voice that you do for that.
Yeah.
All right, so first up, Sony, a little news for their financials. They reported a record profit for their fiscal year that ended on March 31st.
Yeah.
They made $11 billion.
Yeah. They did really well. Apparently, it was 8 times the expected, or 8 times what last year was. So, I mean...
Did they say why that was so much?
This anime film called Demon Slayer did really well, combined with almost 8 million PS5s.
Yeah. They had,
PS5.
Yeah, there was a lot of it, and that's globally. They sold about 8 million, and there's still a huge demand for it. Apparently, they still can't get enough here as fast enough.
Yeah, dude, I can't get one. I try all the time.
I gave up.
They did really well, like with a lot of their musical contracts as well. I think like Harry Styles and AC/DC are under their contracts, so they did really well. And some of their like insurance and other investments contributed, but a lot of people just staying home and enjoying entertainment services offered by Sony.
Yeah, but man, they want to shut down production of all that stuff last year, but like that's the entertainment stuff's so important for when people are supposed to be staying home.
And I think they're expected to double their next quarter or this year's projections as well, because they just made that deal with Disney for like the sharing of content for like the Spider-Man stuff and other projects, other movies under their umbrella. They have the next Spider-Man movie coming up. They have a new Transylvania movie, that animated movie coming up. They have a decent slot of kind of a few big movies expected to come out. So Sony's coming out of the gate swinging.
Yeah, cool. Next up, we're going to switch gears to Fox, who is developing a sequel to the hit 60s animated show The Flintstones that we all know and love, called Bedrock. So it's rumored to take place 20 years after the original series, and Elizabeth Banks is attached to star as Pebbles and executive producer.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. I've heard a lot about like ones they've done in the past, and I know they tried this like in the late 60s, maybe early 70s and 80s. There was like, they did like a grown-up TV show with like Pebbles and Bam Bam, and then Fred. They did like a Fred where all of them were kids, but I think they're trying to go in a different direction, where they're going from the Stone Age to like the Bronze Age.
Yeah,
and I think everyone's supposed to be in it, Fred and the other cast of characters. Awesome. But it should be interesting. I think I have like more confidence in it that Fox wants to do it than if it was like
it's technically Disney now, right?
What's that?
That's technically Disney now, right?
I guess so. Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know.
Huh.
Just scratching my head.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how that turns out. But I'm excited.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. All right, next up, literally, I just saw this a couple hours ago. There's a new Dexter teaser for the serial killer show.
No
Dexter.
way.
Yeah.
I thought that was canceled.
No, it's coming.
I thought that was done. Oh.
No, they're doing a 1-season revival of it. So they just released a 30-second teaser. It didn't show anything. It was just basically. I don't want to. Did you watch it, JJ?
I didn't finish it. I think I'm halfway into season 2 or 3.
All right. Do you care if I talk about the ending?
No, I gave up on it. Go ahead.
Okay. So when he's in, you saw it, TC, right? So when he's in the, he's the lumberjack at the end and everything, and then it just cuts. So this is just basically it pans out from like the forest into his cabin, and he just turns and smiles at the camera, and that's it. I'm
pretty sure exactly how the last episode.
Yeah, similar. Yeah. So
that's awesome. I really did enjoy that show up until like season 5. I think. I
think he's pumped too because he did say something about how the last couple seasons were a little, not too well received. So he's excited to do something good with it again.
That's awesome. Looking forward to that.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. All right, next up. Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelation is getting a 4-issue prequel comic from Dark Horse, the first issue of which will be available on July 7th.
It's interesting. So, I mean, obviously this is the part of the news that I really contributed to, but I think it's a DC comic property. Mm-hmm. So DC does all the other books. It's interesting how they got their hands on this like 4-issue prequel, but it's supposed to be like what's going to happen right before this series takes place. And so I don't know how much people have heard about the series in general. It's supposed to be a direct sequel to the original Filmation series. So, I mean, it's hard because in the 80s, they didn't really do a lot of continuity with episodes. So you'd have to like watch it all and kind of like mash it together. So I'm curious how they're going to clean a lot of that up, but I'm really excited to that. I mean, Hudson, I already told Ozzy, I was like, I want these on my pull list as soon as they come out. So that's I'm easy to say. I'm very excited.
That's what I figured you would be.
You should be writing that down, Hudson. Write it down. Make sure.
Ozzy already knows.
I got the. You gotta make sure
you write it
I
down.
texted each employee individually, and then I sent an email, and then I sent something in the mail.
Are there other covers?
Certified mail.
I don't know yet. There probably will be.
They probably have not been revealed. Who knows? I know the first issue, the first cover was. I'm forgetting his name. He does a lot of digital work with DC though. But is it
Inhyuk Lee?
No, not Lee. His name starts with like I think it's. I don't know why Steven Segovia is coming to name, but I don't know why.
The art on the cover looked great. If the animation looks like that, I'll be really happy because I'm nervous still for what the animation's going to look like. Because I thought that was a poster for the show. I'm not exactly sure. I think it's supposed to be later this year. I mean, again, the cast for that, the voice cast is just tremendous. I can't wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Nice. All right. Well, still in the Masters of the Universe vein, but not related to Revelation, Noah Centineo, who is playing Atom Smasher in the upcoming Black Adam movie, has exited from the titular role of He-Man in the live-action reboots.
Yeah, I think this just broke today or maybe yesterday. Mm-hmm. It's I think it's coming down to like a scheduling conflict. He seems to be like buddying up with The Rock now, so he's probably on greener pastures since he's in this movie with him. I didn't love his look for it, to be honest. Mm-hmm. He doesn't seem big enough, although I think he's, starting to pump some iron now, but whatever. This movie's been in up in the air for like 20 years now. So
still not sure if it's actually happening.
Who knows what's going to happen? I said, I'm not convinced it's happening until I see a trailer.
Nice. All right. Next up, the live streaming event DC Fandom is happening again this year. It's only going to be one day. It's going to be on October 16th. And with a few bigger cons like New York Comic Con expected to happen this year, it seems DC is still opting for their own streaming event. So does this mean they're not going to be at New York Comic Con? Or are they just doing this in conjunction?
The question is, when were they ever in New York Comic Con? They haven't been there in quite a while.
They usually are. They have that area, remember, JJ?
There's something, right?
In the front usually remember where we got the pins the last time.
Yeah, but that's usually just a place where they sell their crap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think they would go to do like the announcements. Like they would always go and have like a slotted time
Panels and stuff, right?
in one of those big
And they-
paneled rooms.
Yeah, and they'd always give out some cool stuff. Like I got this one the last time I was there. Just a
Oh, nice.
platinum Legion ring.
That's sweet. But did you get all 5 Harley Quinn pins? Oh, you can't see them. I'm pointing at them.
I did, and you guys picked up 2 of them for me when I wasn't there those 2 days.
I think JJ got one for me as well.
I got them all.
You were the only one who went Sunday. You got them for us.
Yep.
I refused to go Sunday at that point. So this is going to be, I mean, I guess we'll kind of keep this in the vein, but New York Comic Con is happening this year.
Yeah.
And
As
we
of
don't
right
know, we don't know how many people they're going to let in, how many vendors they're going to let in. I mean, Hudson, you guys, you work at Best, our local comic shop. You guys are playing with the idea of vendoring this year. Does anybody know what to expect yet? I don't even think the vendors do, right?
I highly doubt they could put full capacity.
Not really. I think they've said they're going to do 50% capacity, which
Even that would be a lot.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember going and just being like me, one person here, just walking. It's always crammed. It's always smushed. It's going to be a struggle, and then ticket prices also. If it's 50%,
they're going to go up to account for it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do time slots too.
Oh, maybe.
People-
Not let
yeah.
everybody in for 10 hours.
I know
Yeah.
some certain cons are doing that are doing this year. They'll
Like 4-hour
3
blocks
hours.
or something. Yeah.
3-4 hours.
I don't
you're
know
in,
how you would
and you're out.
control that.
That's going to be
Mhm.
tough. I have no idea. If they're taking votes on like how they think, if they're asking people's opinions, I guess, on how they think it should be conducted, I think it should just be me by myself and
And all the vendors for
yeah,
you.
honestly, aside from this COVID stuff in general, like my dream's always has always to have been the only person at a comic book convention. I was like, I love them. I just don't like that all those other people are there.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll
Time will
see
tell.
what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, next up, a little Star Wars news, a little news. So
A
Ewan-
little news here.
yeah.
You got 18 pages on this. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna let you take it away,
because I
Toy Story.
copied a quote I wanted to say. It's funny. So Ewan McGregor gave a new interview with Hollywood Reporter, and he's talking about this new show he's doing, but he's also talking about the Obi-Wan series because they're like almost at principal photography. So it is going to be 6 episodes. He's currently in like a rigorous training schedule for like the last 2 months for hours a day to try and get in shape. And I'm pretty sure they're doing lightsaber practice, I'm sure. And so he's really excited about it, especially because he was talking about how bummed out he was as each prequel was released. It was like less and less well received. So like as an actor, that bummed him out. And it also bummed him out by the third one. It was like almost entirely green screened. And so he was like, after 3 or 4 months of that, it just gets really tedious, especially when the scenes are, I don't want to be rude, but it's not Shakespeare. He's like, there's not something to dig into the dialogue that can satisfy you when there's no environment there. So he was talking about how difficult it was to do and how different it is now with the big LCD screens like they use for Mandalorian and like being in the universe.
I was gonna ask if they're using the same thing because that
same thing.
I don't know if any of you guys, I know for sure JJ and Toy Story, you've watched this, but the making of Mandalorian, to see like that process, that was just amazing. That like that's where the technology's at this point.
Like imagine how that must feel as an actor, like how much easier it must be to get into your role.
Oh,
with being in the environment like that.
Like not only do you have to immerse yourself in the character, but you have to immerse yourself in a pretend scene. Like that's it's a lot to ask of a person.
Oh yeah,
and they don't have to travel. Like think about the original Star Wars, where they had to film in Africa in the dead,
in the middle of the desert.
You don't have to do that anymore.
And where the hell ever the Hoth was, where was that?
Oh my god,
that was like Greenland or something like that.
Yeah. So he's super excited for that, and I'm excited. I think it's gonna be good.
Not knocking Shakespeare though. By the way, I've read almost all the major Shakespeare plays. They're nothing to write home about either, all right? Except Macbeth. Macbeth's my favorite Shakespeare play. That one's really good.
That's funny. All right, yeah, that's all I got. So
Nice.
All right. That was pretty good. So what we do want to do before we close this out, and the main reason we invited Hudson here, is we want to talk about a couple series going on, and we're not going to do like a full review, but let's start out with the big one, the Disney Plus one, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's over. It's done. What did everybody think? Oh, wait. Did you not finish? Hold on. Put him back on. Put him back on.
What?
Put him back on.
what?
So you didn't finish?
No, I'm incredibly bored by it, but continue.
And you should have just watched it. It's your job. All right. Hudson, you're our guest. How about you go first?
So I enjoyed it a lot. I'm not gonna say as much as WandaVision, but I did like the fact that there wasn't everyone saying X-Men's gonna be in this episode, Mephisto's gonna be in that one, and all that. I didn't like that's one of the big things I didn't like about WandaVision. Just every single episode was just speculation, and then you hear books going through the roof and all of that. So this one was just a lot more tame and better, and wasn't everyone speculating that, oh, we saw fly on the wall, Mephisto's going to be in the episode now just because we saw fly. I did like the Wakandans being in it. I wish we could have gotten a little bit more of them, maybe Shuri in there a little bit, but what we did get them against John Walker, it was just like you're done,
That was cool.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the ending?
Oh,
did you finish it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Yeah.
I love him in the suit. Looks exactly like him in the comics. It looks so good.
I think that's the best thing they've done with these Disney Plus series so far is how accurate they've gotten with the comic book outfits, and I love that. I love Scarlet Witch's. I love Sam's costume. It's comic book accurate, but it doesn't look like silly.
Yeah,
and the US agent outfit was awesome.
Perfect.
Too.
Yeah, it was spot on as well. I forgot about that one.
And I think he plays that character perfect too.
Oh, he's so good.
I like him as that.
As
much of a dick he was.
So much that people are like giving this guy a literal hard time. It's like, he's an actor. It's like, first of all, you dummies don't know anything about this character, because that's exactly what he's kind of supposed to be. And I think he's done a fantastic job. Luckily, he's missed a lot of it. He's like, I don't actually use social media or the internet, so he's like, I didn't hear anything bad about it. I was like, all right, well, good for him. But he was fantastic. I mean, I think it was really well done. I think, they tried to give a positive message. And I think it was the thing that I really liked about it is they were trying to give a positive message, and it didn't seem like shoved down your throat like a lot of them do.
I disagree with you on that one.
I had a feeling you would, but I think it was well done, in my opinion.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It was a great episode, and I'll probably take crap for this, but I understand the whole black-white thing. I get it. Whatever it is, But I just, in that context, I'd like to just see the show just run. Like, we don't. The division. I have issues with the division.
I think so. And
that's my. I don't know if that's just me, but it's just I have an issue with that. Like,
I think they were trying to take the division out of it, though. That's kind of where I saw it.
See, I felt like it was just shoved in there. Like, it was like, here, I don't know. That's just the way I took it. It just I felt like it was just shoved down our throats, and
I feel like a lot of other shows have done that. There's a lot of like DC stuff, like Supergirl. I felt was like doing that a lot, and I
didn't watch that. Yeah,
and I stopped watching it because it was just like too much. I don't know. I actually liked it. I think they did it well. I do think that stuff was filmed late, like when everything was happening, and they could have gone like really like, I guess, balls to the walls on it, but he just kind of plain and simple said, I felt like the message said we all need to come together, and I like the, I thought it was a positive message overall.
Yeah. I love the old guy, the old Cap, Vietnam. Like, I love that story. That was a great part in it. But the black and white thing, I don't know. Maybe it's just because there's so much of it going around in the world. It's getting tiring. Like, let's just tell me the story. I don't need this whole backstory to it. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure different people felt differently about it. And it's good to get other people's perspective, 100%.
And that's my opinion. So I'm not, but no, it was a great story, and I like it. The outfit was great. I'm glad he finally took up the reins. Like, it's about freaking time.
Yeah. But I'm glad they just like decided that who it was going to be too. It's just like, because it kind of like, it was like so open-ended. It was like, listen, just make it him. Cap chose him. Like, let's get the story going with. And I think the big thing is, especially with these, you're not going to get like a big reveal. Like, everyone's saying, oh, they're going to be in this. Like, they're not going to do that. Like, you might get one or two characters, like Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Like, she came in. I think she's Madame Hydra, or maybe she's going to play someone else. But I mean, you're getting like these like small things. You're not getting Mephisto. Doctor Doom isn't showing up in Loki.
No.
Like, I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like, you're not getting these major character appearances. These Disney Plus things are kind of like, small stories to move kind of the next movies along, and they're done really well. And I've enjoyed them so far. Would you guys be able to? So, have you heard our grades before, Hudson? How we do like these based on like a comic book grade? So if you were to give this a grade for the series, what would you give it?
I'm gonna go with a 8, 8.0 probably. 8.0.
Wow. Okay.
I was a fan of it. I really liked it. I think him seeing Isaiah Bradley in the Captain America history kind of place, his statue and all of that, I think that was like one of the most heartfelt moments in the MCU. Like,
they did a good job. The reason I said wow is because that's my exact grade, is an 8.0 as well. And so I was impressed that somebody matched me. I do think that the weakness of the show was the lack of Bucky and Sam. I think their like buddy cop interactions was what could have really made the show great, and I felt like you didn't get enough of that. I think if you got more, I would have probably gone higher than 8. I just think I was probably in the 9 to mid 9s on Wanda, and I don't think it was that good. So that's why I'm in the same boat as you, 8.0.
And I also wish we got more Zemo. Like, when we saw the trailers, when they announced it, I thought he was
think
the
they
villain
didn't
of the show.
expect him to be as good as he was going to be and how well received as he was going to be received.
Probably,
but he was very good. Yeah. What about you, JJ?
I'm going with the 7.0 on it, and you hit it on the nose there. If there was more of a Tango and Cash between those two guys, it would have made it. I would have bumped it up to a 9. But it just that was lacking, because when they built this thing up, they built it up like these guys are going to be together, like it's going to be Tango and Cash, it's going to be Lethal Weapon. That's what I thought.
Riggs and Murtaugh.
It didn't go that direction.
Yeah, that was the one thing that disappointed me a little bit, for sure. I mean, the best, 100% the best episode is when they're in the psychiatrist's office together and they're kind of going at each other. That was hands down my favorite episode of the series.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, well, let's invite Toy Story back and see if we can get his attention, because he's not paying attention. All right, we're done.
Cool.
So Captain America dies at the. No, I'm sorry.
No, don't tell him Steve Rogers comes back. It's messed up.
Yeah, come on.
All right, so I'm gonna leave my headphones on, but you guys want to talk about Invincible for a little while, because I'm probably not gonna see it for a while.
Are you gonna watch it at all?
I don't know. I just don't have a lot of interest. I've never read the book, so.
Neither have I.
Oh, you didn't?
I've never read the books. I'm going to now.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, there is one piece of news I want to add to the end of this as well. I forgot to put in here earlier. Once we're done with Invincible.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's great so far. I mean, we talked a bit about it already. But in my opinion, I don't know about you, JJ and Hudson, they're nailing it every week.
Without a doubt.
Every week.
Every week. Without
so you want to hear this, Tess?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay. It's one of the best animations that I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And I like the rawness of it, the brutality of it.
It's brutal as hell. Oh my god.
It's brutal, and I love that. In this last episode, if you're all caught up, like it was a head turner because I'm curious to see what I think you said there was one more, Hudson.
Yeah.
Like
one more this season.
Where's this going to go? Like I'm curious to know, and I want to know more about his alien heritage or whatever. I mean, I don't know if we get that in the book at all, but here we've got a father. We don't know what. I mean, we know he's extremely powerful. He doesn't die, but like, where does that come from and why?
The book went on for a while, over 100 issues, so a lot was covered in that book.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out. But yeah, it's great animation.
Oh,
how many issues did you say, Hudson?
It's 144 issues. I think it went from 2005 to 2018. I want to say
it only ended a few years ago.
It was going for a while. Yeah, going on for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It was going strong.
Oh, look at it. Comicology has it, and it's free. Yes.
There you go.
Even better.
Yeah, but I love the voice cast too. I mean, they picked such good people for this voice cast.
Like every single character, they nailed perfectly.
Yeah,
and they work so well together. And and you got these guys coming from Marvel movies and DC movies. Like it's great. They're not amateurs. They're the pros at this. In the comic book world.
Yeah, I mean, this was a perfect show to make during the pandemic. Voiceover like this.
Yeah.
So. They did announce today that it was renewed for seasons 2 and 3, so that's very exciting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have pre-grades for them yet? We don't need to do this, but what would you grade it at this point before the finale?
That's tough. I don't usually like to do that.
It's all right. If it's 2 on the spot, we can
8.5 so far.
I'm there with exactly dead on. Yep. 8.5.
I'm going a little higher, 9.0.
Okay, that's good.
Liking it a
that's
lot.
fair. Yeah. I'm just a little reserved just in case, but I don't expect to be let down.
So me and Hudson had the exact same grades for Cap and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What'd you guys give it? You could tell me that.
We both gave it an 8.0.
Okay.
JJ gave it a 7.0.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can.
Where I'm at right now, I'm halfway through it. I'm at like 5, maybe.
So wait, how many episodes have you watched so far?
3.
Oh.
Okay. So what's there, 3 left?
Yeah.
So what happened in the last one?
Something with Zemo. I don't know. He's still around it. I honestly had fallen asleep 3 times so far watching it.
Jeez. I mean, granted, it's 100% not as strong as WandaVision, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad at all. Yeah. But I'll watch it soon.
You can give us your afterthoughts.
I will next time.
So
Comicology has the first 10 volumes of Invincible you can borrow.
There you go. Wow. Do it.
Read it all.
So in the kind of independent realm, we got the last piece of news here is we got a trailer today for Sweet Tooth. Have you guys all seen this?
I didn't see it. I heard about it though.
Hudson shared it on Don't Feed the Geeks.
That's awesome.
You guys
really? Is that book going up in price? Because I have a few copies of number 1.
I think. I mean, people were selling them today. I didn't see the sale price, but I'm sure you can get at least $20 a pop on them. Maybe get them graded. So I didn't realize this, or maybe I just forgot, but it's being executive produced by Robert Downey Jr. and his wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was live action too. I didn't remember that. So I know nothing about this, but just from that, quick teaser, it looks really good. My wife was like, even earlier, she's like, "What's that thing you posted? What is that?" I was like, "Oh, it's this new show they're doing based on a comic." She's like, "Oh, it looks interesting." I was like, "Watch it
check that out."
Yeah, but it looks pretty cool.
Cool.
So that's all I got. Hudson, did you want to add anything else before we kick you out of here?
Not really. Just everyone go and watch Invincible. It's very good.
Including UCC.
Yes.
We'll see.
We'll see.
You know when you guys want me to do things.
Yeah, it took him like 2.5 years to watch Spider-Verse. So I wouldn't get my hopes up.
Wow.
But that's just my style, man.
Yeah, I know.
I got to be into it. If I'm not into it, I have no interest.
Yeah, makes sense.
So,
I get that.
Watch
but
the
Hudson,
first
I want to
episode,
thank
you'll be
you.
into it.
I probably will like it, so I'll eventually do it. It's just, I mean, I'll turn my camera to see if you can see that. I'm dealing with some situations here.
Oh boy.
So I got to get through that stuff before I get into anything else. I only watch stuff unless I have to report on it for an episode. That's the only reason I got through some of these shows as quickly as I did. But Hudson, thanks a lot for all the stuff you've been doing and posting on Don't Feed the Geeks. We appreciate it. You're more than welcome to do more. And if you ever want to get back on here and do a fun segment with us, we'll do the Gen Zer or whatever it is. We'll do another one of those fun games. Ask a Gen Zer.
Ask a Gen Zer.
I
love it.
Or whatever it is. All right, Hudson. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll speak to you, and some of you who see him, we'll see him again soon.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
All right. See you, man.
All right, Hudson.
See you guys.
All right. Well, that was a fun little geek beat. We did a little review there. And let's move on to our main topic, shall we?
Let's do it. Star Wars.
So, Star Wars.
I'm wearing the shirt that TC brought over to my house.
Oh, I'm glad
a while ago. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
So I totally forgot about that. I didn't realize that. I was like, wow, that's a pretty cool shirt.
First time I've worn it.
I'm glad somebody was able to use it because it just wasn't my size, unfortunately. So it's May the 4th. We made it again. What are we going to talk about? Who wants to kick this off?
So we are doing What If Star Wars edition today.
Yes.
Yeah, we thought it'd be fun to come up with these little, scenarios in the Star Wars universe. If things have happened a little differently, what do we think would have happened instead? Sort of like what Marvel did.
Yeah. That was a cool idea. I really liked it. I'm glad we
thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, JJ.
Yeah, thank you, JJ.
You know what? Let's not even give Toy Story credit for it.
Yeah, no credit.
JJ, this was a great idea, and he came up with all the what if scenarios.
He did everything.
Not all of them. You can.
All right, let's hit our first one. All right, so this one, I feel like this is a good one. They're all good, but so the first
I don't have the sheet in front of me, so you're just gonna have to let me know.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
So the first what if is, what if Luke Skywalker had turned to the dark side? So what are we thinking?
When?
So so when I think of this, I'm thinking Empire Strikes Back. Where he's
at the end when he goes up with Vader,
he's like, join me, and he's like, and after he tells him he's my father, he's like, oh man, you're my father? Yeah, I'll join.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I would think it would be the point where he's on Endor, coming up from the elevator.
And this is actually great because let's go through them. So JJ, you take it from there, because we might even have different scenarios of when he would turn.
What you're talking about. He lobs off his hand, and I would think that, after that scene, he would be rescued just like it was, but then he would think about what transpired. Like, oh my God, this guy's my father, and everything else. And then you got that break, and he gets captured in, Return of the Jedi, and
he gets confirmation too from Yoda and Obi-Wan that he is in fact his father.
So I think that's where I think I would see things turn a little bit, and I could see the second Death Star being completed, him off and his dad taking a place, get in front of the Emperor, and
you think he would off him?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think they would off the Emperor.
You think really?
Yeah.
I think the Emperor has so much control, and so I.
All right. In my scenario, he does it in Empire, because if it would go like a classic arc, kind of like similar to Vader's arc, he would turn to the dark side and then be redeemed by the end of Jedi.
Ooh, so you're saying we get him back?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Exactly. I think he turns, but we get him back. I still think that end of Empire is like a perfect turn point for him, and then he spends most of Jedi,
training with Vader,
but has a little bit of that inner conflict within him. Like, is what I'm doing right?
That's interesting.
I do like that. So I think at the end you almost leave on a cliffhanger. Like if they would have gone that way, that you leave it on a cliffhanger where you don't know if he's going to go with him or not.
Yeah.
I think that would, if you go in that direction, you don't know. Everyone's like, oh, he's not going to go. He's not going to go with him. Then you come back, Return of the Jedi, and bam, like he's like teamed up with Vader, and you know him. They take out the Emperor and they mow down the entire rebellion. But they capture Leia. So in that scenario, Han Solo never even comes out of carbonite.
Yeah, never.
He's not with them to try and rescue them.
Maybe that's the sequel trilogy. Go rescue them.
But what would he do with Leia?
I think she would be the one to what?
I was saying I feel like he would try and turn her too.
Yeah, but I think she would be the one to bring him back.
Right.
It would be exactly the same thing as Luke did with Vader, except Leia with Luke. Yeah. And then what happens to Vader though?
Same thing.
Becomes a ghost.
All right. I like that one. All right, you guys ready for what if scenario part 2?
Sure.
Yeah. Visiting my prequels now.
All right. Why do you say this one?
Yeah. What if Mace Windu had killed Sidious in front of the window?
You mispronounced my name, mother.
In front of the window when he's like, don't do it, and then Anakin's like, I need him, and he does the thing and then he cuts off his arm. Remember, what if Anakin doesn't do that and he just kills Sidious right there? First of all, is he able to kill Sidious?
I don't know.
Why would he not be?
Because he's crazy powerful.
I mean, he could have had a clone waiting at the time back then, right?
No, we're not doing any of that clone nonsense stuff.
hey, it's all in canon, man.
Do you think that he was all powerful at that moment, or he became more powerful after that moment?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't think he was at full strength at that time. I think he could have been beaten during that time when Mace Windu was, going at him.
I think he's actually sorry.
No.
It's crazy how like intimidating or powerful that Mace Windu was in his own respect, because I feel like Yoda had a hard time.
Yeah, he did.
The thing that stinks is you really never got to see like Mace Windu really like let off on someone. Like that's really the closest you got. Like he took out almost every other, what was it, like 5 Jedi went with him?
And Mace Windu was the only one who stood.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he had a lot more. Mace Windu had more power than he not should have, but there should have been more power. He should have had more power, and I just think he got the raw end of the deal. I mean, he died off pretty quick in that battle.
So I think if Mace Windu did kill Sidious, I think Anakin still turns to the dark side.
I agree with that,
because Mace Windu killed his only chance at saving Padme.
But so I think we realized that the whole time he was manipulating her.
Yeah.
So maybe he was manipulating his dreams, so nothing might have happened to Padme in this situation. He wouldn't have killed the kids. She wouldn't have got upset with him and like left him. I mean, in this scenario, I see him like raising Luke to be a Jedi, raising Luke and Leia to be a Jedi of their own. I mean, the real question would have been, how did the council react to him having kids? Maybe he would have left the Jedi Order. I mean, who knows?
No, the council was all dead. It was all dead by then.
They were all dead by then.
Wait, were they? No. I'm sorry. You're right. No, they weren't. The Order 66 was after.
After. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So that's not true.
Then he went out to the younglings.
Yeah.
No,
because
but
he was under his.
I still think Anakin goes to the dark side after Mace does that.
I think that was the trigger point.
Yeah, I think he goes to the dark side either way. I think he would, let his hate flow through him, and he would just, he would be the one.
Yeah, I see him growing old on Tatooine with the sand. And Padme.
It's so coarse.
What else did I want to say about that? I can't remember now, but
freaking sand.
The sands. All right, let's lead into another one.
The stupidest line of the whole thing.
I know.
Like, come on.
All right, let's piggyback off that a little bit and stay in the same vein. So what if what happened in the movie happened, but Order 66 failed? for whatever reason, maybe not all the Jedi were killed, maybe none of the Jedi were killed. Maybe
Or
the
all the
in there.
major ones kind of got out of the trouble, right?
Yeah. So what do we think?
I think you see like a showdown at the Jedi Temple. This time, nobody gets in. Like they mow down the forces, and I mean, you figure at this point it would wind up where Obi-Wan would get back. I mean, once you get like, let's say Yoda, Mace Windu, and like, you know, Obi-Wan, they all kind of go down and like they take out Anakin and the Emperor together. I mean, as powerful as he becomes, there's no way the two of them could have taken them all down at full strength. Yeah. Like, because obviously Obi-Wan takes out Anakin on his own. Yeah. And then, you know, I mean, apparently Yoda and Mace Windu together could have probably taken the Emperor. So
probably. I still think Obi-Wan and Anakin fight. They would
still fight each other. They have to, yeah.
I think that was, you know, the draw. They were so spread out anyway, and I think that was the whole plan, to spread out the Jedi so that they could be taken down easier. Yeah. So I mean, you know, I think it was inevitable anyway.
It's a hard scenario. This one's probably the hardest what if, because they're, like JJ just said, they're so spread out. Like they'd have to like mow down so many clones to get back and even like be in a position.
I mean, look at that one, the blue Twi'lek girl. I mean, she was in the middle of the forest by herself with a bunch of clones. There was no chance for her to get out of that. You know, there were other instances. I don't know. The one
the better would have been if Yoda could have just figured this out from the beginning.
Right? Well, that's the other thing. Why couldn't they sense it? Right?
Apparently, the dark side clouds everything. He always said, right? So the another question was, so let's go back to the Mace Windu. I'm sorry I skipped this. I remember what it is now. So it's canon now, according to comic books, that Sidious manipulated midichlorians to create him. Would Anakin have died?
If what?
If they would have killed the Emperor? Because it's not really clear in Return of the Jedi. Now you assume it's the electricity that kills him, right? The electricity powers or whatever, after he throws the Emperor down that shaft. But was that all it was? Could it be that his life was so connected to whatever?
Oh, to Sidious.
To Sidious.
Oh, interesting interpretation.
Yeah. But
I don't know. You don't think so?
It's getting deep though now, right? It makes you think.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy the way he just keeled over and died during that. I mean, but then again, I would think the lightning had to, because it disrupted his breathing apparatus.
Yeah,
so
I mean, he's more machine than man, as they always said. So
he's
I mean,
more machine now than man.
Yeah, I mean, he short circuited. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
What was that?
That was a yawn from the other room. That was a yawn from the other room.
Is that your dad?
Yes, it was.
That is amazing. Sound like a freaking car zipping by.
Sound like a whale. With Dora, you know, from the Fish movie.
We just watched Finding Dory the other day.
Oh my god, that's hysterical.
All right, so what do we got? We got.
All right, next up, let's do a little. Let's go back to the original trilogy. How about that?
Sure.
Is this originally trilogy?
So, what if Han Solo stayed with the Empire? I like this one.
Yeah. Yari, why don't you start with this one then?
Because he, you know, originally, I mean, if you read the stories in the books and the comic books, I mean, he was a badass pilot for the Empire, you know, and I know he didn't like that. But what happens if he stayed with? I think that would have been. That's a great thing to think about, because he was such a badass pilot, and I don't know. He would have taken out everything.
Maybe he would have killed Luke in his X-wing and stopped the
I think he's a much better pilot than Luke. Yeah.
No, but if he stayed with the Empire, everything would have still happened, except Obi-Wan and him wouldn't have found him as a pilot to take them to Alderaan and the Death Star.
Correct.
So would they have found someone else?
He could have made Admiral or General.
They would have found somebody else.
So all that would have still happened, do you think?
That spaceport is filled with villains and
maybe Greedo would have took them.
No, but then
Green-
I don't think they succeeded everything then, because Han was such like an integral part of everything.
Yeah, I mean, he carried the acting of all three of those.
No, not even that. Just like the events. Like Luke would be dead if Han didn't come and shoot Vader's, TIE fighter.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think everything would have ended a lot quicker.
He also has too much charisma for the Empire.
Yeah, like he would have stayed begrudgingly and been like that guy who was just mad about it and hates his job.
Yeah.
But he stays for the health benefits.
I still tell you, like, I would love like a comedy, like a comedy drama about like life as a stormtrooper or something like that. Just like, a buddy cop thing, like, oh, I gotta get up and and they're like always patrol, like those two guys in The Mandalorian at the end of season 1. Yep. Like who were like just like the two speeder guys. I think one of them was one of the guys from SNL. I would love a show just about like two guys like that, like just like going through like daily problems. That would be hilarious.
Look at the small little segments from Robot Chicken. If you ever seen the Star Wars episodes,
oh my god, they're so funny.
Yeah, I mean, and those are like you had.
Have you ever seen those, TC?
I think I've seen one or two. I haven't seen. I don't know how many.
That's where the Darth Jar Jar originated from.
Oh, is it from there?
I gotta say, I'll send you that later. That's hysterical.
One of my favorites on that is when the Emperor is walking through, like going down the escalator, and stormtroopers are like, hi to the Emperor. He's like, hi, Stormtrooper. Hi, Stormtrooper. Leave me alone, Stormtrooper. It was just so funny. I don't know, but yeah, that would be a great thing to see, like the behind the scenes of a day in the life of a stormtrooper.
Yeah, right. Like, what are all these guys doing when there's not something crazy going on at the moment?
They're just people.
Yeah, it's just
like what's Sidious's bedtime routine?
Yeah,
right.
Just like, I gotta mop the floor again. It's almost like that Adam Driver behind the scenes thing. Too.
That was the best part of that whole trilogy.
We know Finn, he was a plumber, right?
Sanitation, he did.
Yeah, so I mean, these people have real jobs and real lives.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's funny. It's like, why do I have to wear this whole suit to mop the floor?
Somebody think of the children.
That's funny.
What else we got?
All right, what if we're going to the Clone Wars a little bit? What if Ahsoka had never left the Jedi Order? So, TC, do you know what happened at least?
No.
Oh.
So, she was Anakin's Padawan.
I knew. I knew.
And there was this whole thing where she was accused of murder, falsely, and she was kicked out of the Jedi Order. And but the whole thing was resolved, and they offered to bring her back in, but she said, "No, I'm leaving."
Okay.
Because if that's what you guys are gonna do, I don't want to be any part of this. And the whole ending thing was like, Anakin was trying to get her to stay, and she was like, I can't, Master. And he's like, Ahsoka, I understand hating wanting to leave. And she's like, she just leaves then, and that's it.
Can I ask, why did he get a Padawan? He wasn't a master at that point.
No, they thought it would be good for him, though, to keep him in, to mature him a little bit, because he was still kind of reckless. Right, Jim?
Right. He wasn't like... I remember him he wasn't always listening, and it just got to the point where Obi-Wan's like, all right, here you go. She's not.
You have someone to be responsible for now.
Right. He thought he was ready for it.
So it's like giving like someone a puppy.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
But I thought she was kind of like the whole murder thing, and she was conflicted about basically, what the Jedi Order meant, because they weren't doing things for the people. They were doing things for themselves, right? Or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like they weren't helpful to the normal everyday Joe Schmo.
Yeah, they were worried about like the
more militaristic, more policing. It wasn't helping the people. Like they weren't benefiting the people. So that's why she was conflicted about it. And that's why she walked away from it.
Exactly.
Do you think so? Again, since I don't really know that much about her aside from Mandalorian, do you think Anakin would have changed so easily to the dark side if she was still in the picture?
I think it would have been Obi-Wan and Ahsoka versus Anakin.
Yep.
In episode 3. He would have still changed. Maybe she would have been another voice trying to I
think it would have been drawn out a little bit longer. I don't think it would have happened so quickly. I think there would be some kind of little trigger in there, be like, okay, well, maybe not. I just think eventually I think it would have happened, but I think it would have drawn out the story longer.
Yeah, because she was still there. We know from the Clone Wars, the series, the last season last year, that she was there around the time of that movie.
Yeah.
She was just doing other stuff. So if she was still a Jedi, though, she would still be doing Jedi stuff. She'd still be, probably tagging along with them on the mission. So she would have been there.
When you really think about it, I mean, Anakin was too big of a crybaby to ever not change. So
yeah, he would have changed it anyway.
He was always douche in training. I mean, the great thing is he changed for the better, though. Yeah. I mean, Darth Vader was 1,000 times better than Anakin Skywalker ever was. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but I think he still would have turned, but maybe on the lava planet Mustafar during that fight, like when he, instead of Obi-Wan leaving him, Ahsoka wouldn't leave him like that, I don't think. She would fix him up.
It is pretty effed up that he does just.
He literally just walked away. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, dude, it's like he's not dead. Clearly, he's not dead. Like,
but also by not killing him, he caused everything of the next 30 years too.
Yeah. Jerk.
Kind of an ass.
He should be blamed for this.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll cover that in the new series.
Oh, maybe he has like regrets and stuff, and that's what his flashbacks are about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it's definitely him in like interactions, because if we get him in the voice, I'm telling you,
they're not.
If I see Darth Vader and I hear Hayden Christensen's voice, I'm turning it off, and I'm
that's not going to
anymore of Obi-Wan the series.
They would get a sound alike for James Earl Jones before they did that.
Yeah, you were my brother, but I'm going to let you burn.
Essentially, yeah.
It's kind of weird.
It's totally weird.
It is.
If you think about it.
It is screwed up.
Yeah.
And this going along with this last one, I think this fits in perfectly with this. So, what if Qui-Gon never died?
Mm-hmm.
And I like the relationship of this going with Anakin, because I kind of think Qui-Gon would have probably. I mean, he wouldn't have followed, I think, the Jedi. I think he would have been more.
He was a little bit of a he didn't like the Jedi stuff either.
Right.
Yeah,
he was like the original radical of the Jedi.
Yeah, he was a rightist, right, or whatever it is.
I think he
was very liberal Jedi.
Yeah.
I think he would have taken the same path of Ahsoka, like kind of,
Yeah. He probably would have left, actually, I think.
I would have thought so.
He would have been there and around. First of all, he would have trained Anakin, not Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Also,
I think he was also better suited to train Anakin than Obi-Wan was. And not to say Obi-Wan wasn't a great Jedi, but first of all, it was something he never wanted. And, next, he'd just become a master himself to be have this kid thrust upon him, kind of only out of obligation to Qui-Gon.
Yeah. That's the only reason he did it.
And that's another thing. So you brought up a good point. Like, here you've got, and the same thing happened with Ahsoka, right? Here you've got somebody who just became a Jedi Master, and all of a sudden they've got a Padawan. Like, there's no buffer. Like, there's no 5 years of training to be a Jedi Master. You automatically. So how are you, like? Of course you're not going to
do the best job ever.
Right.
I mean, it's got to be you figure it's got to be something that's like part of their training regimen. Like, not only do you need to learn this, but you need to learn it well enough to pass it on to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I need the Jedi Order handbook to really know how a lot of this training and everything is
handled. I have that. I haven't read it.
Oh yeah, they did do that. They did do that. Funny.
But it's interesting. Yeah, I totally think you see a different path for him if Qui-Gon's still in the picture. And I mean, if you think about it, the whole reasoning of, I think, George Lucas, and granted the way a lot of this got told wasn't as great, but I think you showing step by step, why everything happened, like why he turned. It's because he didn't have Qui-Gon. I think they're telling you in that episode, Obi-Wan wasn't suited well enough to train him and handle him.
I think he knew that though by the end too.
I think Qui-Gon kind of like understood where he was coming from. He saw he was a little different, and even you could see him in like episode 1. He's kind of conflicted about what they should do with that kid. Yep. And even though Yoda tells him like, oh, we don't want you to train him, he's like, oh, I'm going to train him anyway. Because not training him might have been as bad as training him.
Yeah, because then what would he have done on his own? What would he have gotten into?
Yeah. So it's interesting because Yoda's like, no, we're not going to train him. I think they probably should have just like kept him in the Jedi Order and just had him be like the guy who mopped the floors and never like, because I could be wrong about this, but I think in Mandalorian, and this is the first time I heard that, was that if you don't like train them in their powers or teach them how to use their powers, they'll eventually kind of leave
Lose
them,
it.
right?
Right.
Yeah. So unless you like, I don't know what the word is, but I'd say if you don't use it, you lose it, kind of thing.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's probably the route they should have gone, I guess, essentially. But
Mhm.
you know, could they have stopped Sidious without him? I mean, you don't have the fall of the Jedi Order without him. You also don't technically stop Sidious without him.
Exactly.
So it's just a circle, it goes
Yeah.
round and round. I love that movie. But... All right, was that all of them?
Yeah, that was all of them.
That was a lot of fun. I like that. We should do what if for other stuff.
Yeah.
This was cool.
I'm surprised,
I
I'm
like
surprised when people don't do that.
I like going into these like different what if scenarios. They should do like a comic book series like that.
Yeah,
They
we should do it.
You know what's going to definitely happen as soon as they release that what if TV show. A lot more people are going to do this. The Marvel one. But very good, very good.
Cool.
Yeah. So what do we think is going to happen in the Obi-Wan series?
I think we're going to see him on Tatooine watching over Luke somehow, and then I don't know.
Like there's a 20-year gap in between.
And you got to figure too, like we may see. I mean, I don't know, Darth Maul. I mean, he's still alive at this moment. I mean, why wouldn't he not show up on Tatooine just like the comic books?
But wasn't the problem with that, like, he doesn't show up till like very, very late on, right? Isn't that when he eventually dies?
In Rebels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's that long.
episode 6.
I don't think it's that long.
It's interesting. I really don't have much of an idea. It'd be weird for him to be like bouncing around at different planets. I mean, you assume the entire show, especially only 6 episodes, are all going to take place on Tatooine.
Did you guys, Jim? Did you read the Kenobi book?
No.
It's one book, Kenobi. It takes place in between.
No.
So that's essentially, it's a smaller scale story. It takes place on Tatooine, and it follows Obi-Wan, like just as he gets to Tatooine, like in those first few, months or years or whatever, and he kind of befriends this shopkeep in Mos Eisley, and like gets really close to the family. And there's this whole local Tusken Raider, issue that they're trying to curb. So that's what that whole story deals with. It's nothing like big or grand, but it's essentially him, like, how does he's trying to figure out how to still help people but still maintain this low profile without, letting the Emperor know that he's around, or Vader.
I would expect that's kind of what we're gonna get. It's hard to believe, like, with the scale they want to do these, and they already said this is a one and done, right? Mm-hmm. They're not going to do more than one of these.
Yeah, which I don't think they should.
No, I mean, especially with this character.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard for it to come off as like very exciting. Like I don't think it's going to be, unless they really throw in these like incredible like flashback scenes. Because I don't even know why Hayden Christensen's involved, honestly. Like,
he shouldn't be. But again,
unless it's just him in the suit, which is kind of silly. Because
it's going to be flashbacks, I think.
I would think the flashbacks makes more sense than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Or dream sequences or hallucinations or whatever.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I
mean, I want to see it. I'm more curious than excited. I'm going to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Well, the director Deborah Chow, who did those really good Mandalorian episodes, is doing all 6. So
she's doing all of them.
Yeah,
I like her, and actually, action sequences is her specialty.
Yeah,
from what they said. So
I'm pumped to see what it is.
I mean, listen, are they going to put a bad thing together? No, I'm just, and that's why I'm more curious. It's just because, and I like that I'm curious because I don't know what to expect.
Yeah,
and usually when that's the case, it usually gets pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
So is this the Kenobi Legends, Star Wars Legends?
Yeah, John Jackson Miller.
Yep, I might have to check it out. It's only $7.
Yeah, it's good. It's not crazy action packed or whatever, but what actually is really cool about it is a lot of the book is from the perspective of the Tusken Raiders. So like you're in the thought, you're from the perspective of this of like the leader of the tribe.
Yeah.
and you're in their head and hear them thinking. It's really cool, actually. Now that I remember it.
And it's comprehensible, or do you have to learn how to speak Tuscan?
No, it's English.
Yark is the
Yark,
Tuscan.
yeah.
Yep.
It's really
Cool.
it was really cool.
I'll have to check it out.
I really liked how there was a different, like more of a respect for the Tuscan Raiders in Mandalorian too.
Yeah.
Where he's like,
They're not just the savages on the sidelines.
Yeah, I like that he kind of brought them into like a more reasonable light. He's like, hey, well, technically you're on their land to them. So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Cool.
All
Very
right.
exciting.
Good stuff.
I
Good
like
stuff
it,
on the
guys.
horizon. Hopefully you guys enjoyed What If Star Wars. And we hope you have a happy May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
And now we're going to close it out with our usual spiel.
Live long
He
and
can't do
prosper.
it. I can do it.
I can do it.
Yes. So if you are not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. Bang on that little bell to get your notifications on. And if you're not following us on at Don't Feed the Geeks podcast or at LI Comic Guys on Instagram and Facebook, please do so. We put a lot of interesting content on there. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there was a Thor motion leap we did a while
That
back.
thing is blown.
We have gotten up to 13,600 views on that.
Crazy.
It's been exploding. I guess this is the closest thing we've come to going viral on. So
How is
that's
that
been pretty
possible?
exciting.
What did we do right on that?
I don't know. I think it came into a search pattern and people are just liking it and watching it. And hey, we'll try to catch lightning in a bottle twice. But
Yeah, right.
we have some cool stuff in the works. We have a lot of stuff planned. Now that things are opening up, you might see us a little bit more often in person, and we're really excited about that. We've made so many new friends. Hopefully you guys get a chance to watch Geeking Out. We do those on IGTV. We do them live, and then if you miss them live, you can watch them after the fact on IGTV. We got comic books for sale on LI Comic Guys. We got a lot of stuff going on. So
Check us
make
out.
sure you're following, make sure you're watching, make sure you're telling your friends, tell your mom, tell your daughter, tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your uncle, aunt, godfather, godmother, anyone you know, friends. Just spread the word because we're putting a lot of work into this and we hope you guys enjoy it. So, I want to give a shout out to the recent people that have been hanging with us. We had the boy who had 7 on our Geeking Out. He was great. We had Joel Comics on our show. He was great, and everyone else who's done it so far. And that's all I got.
Do we know why
Good
he's
spiel.
called that?
Yes,
I didn't watch it, so enlighten me for a second.
he has 7 kids.
Wow.
Yes. So there you go. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. Do you guys got anything else?
That's it. I'm good. Excellent.
All right. Well, as always, until next time, remember,